Tonight we're looking at one of South Africa's most important economic stories, the recovery of its tourism industry after COVID-19. Once brought to a standstill by global travel bans, tourism is now showing signs of resilience. But how strong is the recovery? And what does it mean for business and policy makers? Here's our report. Before the pandemic, tourism was a cornerstone of South Africa's economy. The sector supported more than 1.5 million jobs and generated hundreds of billions of rand in economic activity each year, making it one of the country's most powerful engines of employment and growth. But in early 2020, the engine stalled almost overnight. International borders closed, flights were grounded, and hotel tour operators and restaurants saw demand evaporate. Tourism became one of the hardest hit sectors globally, and South Africa was no exception. Today, the industry is rebuilding, but the pace and shape of that recovery matter deeply for businesses deciding where to invest, and for policymakers planning for economic growth. The impact of COVID-19 on South African tourism was severe. According to the industry surveys, over 80% of tourism firms reported major revenue loss in 2020. Many businesses were unable to recover operating costs, and thousands of workers across hospitality and transport lost their jobs. Academic studies describe the period as both a demand shock and a supply shock. Tourists could not travel, and businesses were legally unable to operate. And this wasn't just a South African problem. Across Africa, tourism-dependent economies from Kenya to Morocco experienced similar collapses, highlighting the sector's vulnerability to global disruptions. By 2021, attention shifted from crisis control to recovery. The South African government launched a tourism sector recovery plan, targeting three main areas: business survival, domestic tourism growth, and restoring international confidence. Measures such as financial relief for the tourism enterprises. Also, they established a nationwide health and safety protocols. And finally, marketing campaigns encouraged South Africans to travel locally instead of internationally. At the same time, visa facilitation agreements such as the visa waiver from Ghana were introduced to increase arrivals from key African markets. These policies signaled a cooperative attempt to stabilize the sector and prevent long-term structural decline. But recovery didn't rely on government alone. Tourism businesses adapted quickly. Many accelerated digital transformation, shifting scales, marketing, and customer engagement online. Flexible booking and cancellation policies became standard practice, reducing travelers' perceived risk. New tourism products also emerged: ecotourism, remote work tourism, and community-based travel gained traction, aligning with global post-pandemic preferences for sustainability and authenticity. For many firms, innovation became not just a competitive advantage, but a survival guide. So, what do the numbers tell us? In 2024, South Africa reported 8.92 million international tourist travel arrivals, a 5.1% increase from the previous year. Tourism now contributes 8.8% of GDP and approximately 1.7 million jobs. However, recovery has not been uniform across Africa. Morocco welcomed over 17 million visitors in 2024, surpassing pre-pandemic levels. Egypt recorded more than 15 million arrivals, driven by large-scale infrastructure and cultural tourism investment. Kenya, while smaller in volume, rebounded strongly through premium safari tourism. South Africa remains highly competitive in average tourist spending and product diversity, but its volume recovery has been slower than some of its peers. One city leading the recovery is Cape Town. Through strong public-private partnership, aggressive destination marketing, and support for small businesses, Cape Town became one of Africa's, not even South Africa's, fastest recovering urban destinations. By 2023, international arrivals through Cape Town International Airport had reached near pre-pandemic levels, reinforcing the city's role as a national tourism hub. The lesson here is clear. Coordinated leadership, local leadership that is, can accelerate recovery. Meanwhile, Kruger National Park tells a different but equally important story. During the pandemic, the park shifted its focus towards domestic visitors, who became its most reliable market segment. Enhanced health and safety measures helped rebuild trust, while infrastructure upgrades improved the visitor experience. Research shows that clear safety communication was critical in restoring visitor confidence, offering valuable lessons for nature-based tourism worldwide. Despite progress, challenges remain. Infrastructure constraints, energy reliability, and lingering safety perceptions still affect international demand. Long-haul markets, in particular, have been slower to return. Yet, opportunities are equally clear. Domestic tourism has become a stabilizing force. Demand for sustainable and experiential travel continues to rise globally. Digital marketing has allowed even smaller operators to reach global audiences. So, while South Africa's tourism recovery remains incomplete, it is undeniably resilient. The sector is creating jobs again, adapting through innovation, and repositioning itself in a more competitive global market. For businesses, the message is quite clear. Flexibility and sustainability are no longer optional. And for policymakers, tourism remains a powerful, if fragile, engine of inclusive economic growth. That's the story on South Africa's tourism. Come back again soon.